Hello, amazing souls. Welcome to the Soul Vibe Insights podcast, a show to demystify the soul, intuition, and the Akashic Records. We know a thing or two about the ups and downs of being on a spiritual growth plan and how to find the higher perspective, even when it seems like there isn't one. I'm your host, Maddie Hollingsworth.
And I'm your host, Emily Pearl. We've been professional intuitives and energy healers for over 20 years now. We believe each of us are on a unique path of growth and learning, and our intuition is meant to be our guide. The problem is, most of us have never learned how to use it. That's where we come in, helping you discover how your intuition works and the lessons your soul has chosen to learn in this life is what we're all about.
All right, y'all, let's jump right into today's show. Hey there, amazing souls, and welcome back. Emily and I were having such a great conversation last week, and that was part one on explaining life between lives and journey of souls from our perspective of doing soul personality or soul journey Akashic record readings, as well as our experimentations of doing life between lifetime sessions and past life regressions. We absolutely love these subjects and love sharing our depth of knowledge with you, and we hope you're having a good time listening to us. All right, let's get right into part two, life between lifetimes and journey of souls explained. If you're going to incarnate again, there's going to be some planning, which I think is pretty cool. You're going to meet with Rishi souls and make some planning out. And these souls, I don't know if y'all can hear little Barley.
It's our little 17-year-old friend. She likes to yowl.
Yeah, we'll see if that comes up in the podcast or not. Either way, she's saying hello from the next room. I was saying that you will meet with what we call Rishi souls, and they help plan your lifetime. So kind of knowing what your soul's trajectory for learning is and what you want to accomplish. When you choose life lessons, they take several incarnations or lifetimes to complete.
5 to 15.
Yeah, 5 to 15 lifetimes. So it's not like you knock out a couple of life lessons each life you come. You really
Depends
fully...
on how ambitious you are.
Yes. And we have found that in our research, the souls that choose fewer life lessons for their lifetime work through them a little bit quicker versus taking, if you come doing 2 life lessons versus 5 or 6, your experience of challenges around that life lesson is going to come up around those 2 more than being split up between, let's say, 5 or 6 of them. So there is a possibility to somewhat accelerate that. But like Emily mentioned, we say several lifetimes. We'll throw out 5 to 15 as a good reference point. That's a heck of a lot of life experience to fully get the theme of this life lesson from all these different angles, from the duality and the polarity that we hear, the positive and the negative that we have here. So they are extensive, if you will. But you're meeting with your Rishi souls, and you're looking at potentials for your human family, the stuff you want to accomplish, the energy and the ancestral DNA you could potentially be born into, because that's another aspect that we deal with when we're here on Earth, is what has been coming down through the family lifetimes. You're essentially dealing with the energy of your grandparents, all the way down through you. And if there are certain aspects in your family line that no one has been a cycle breaker for or shifted, that may be part of why you came, was to break the cycle of something within lifetimes. There may be a cycle of abuse that someone's trying to break, and they may end up getting abused in that. There could be a cycle of, well, it's just the family's luck. If it can go wrong, it's just gonna go wrong. And they've just had hard lives after hard lives after hard lives and passed that down throughout the generations. So someone might be coming here and be born into that kind of teaching, that kind of mentoring that, it's just going to go bad for you no matter what you do. And you're here to basically break that cycle and prove it wrong. Yeah, sure, that's what you say, that's what I hear, but I'm going to show you. It can be different. And you break that energy in your lifetime. There's probably thousands of reasons like that could be built into the ancestral DNA.
Probably even more than 1,000.
1,000 seems like, but you're probably right, honey. There's an infinite number of reasons that you could be coming on top of aspects that we research, like your life lessons. But it's all about your experience. It's all about your learning and your growth. So you're looking over the potentials for your lifetime and looking at what essentially will be potential probabilities or possibilities. If you come here and choose this family, by how things are looking right now, this should be roughly your experience. And depending on the choices you make, that should become your experience. And these should become your experiences. But when you're in spirit in a light body, it's not fated. It's not written in stone that it will be that way when you come to earth and have free will to make choice. You still have to come here with spiritual amnesia from the plan you made and somehow make the choices that lead you to those experiences you wanted. But you understand that no matter what your choice is when you're in spirit, you're going to learn from your experience. That's the beauty of it. So there is no, oh, I did the plan the way I thought. It's the plan forks into so many branches of a tree that the permutations are limitless that it could be, and it's all learning. It's all potential possibilities and probabilities of how it will go. That's something else I find wildly fascinating when we talk about the life between lives and your soul kind of planning for the next incarnation, the next lifetime that they're going to do, and what it hopes to accomplish, or just what it knows it's going to learn from, at least through the experience, and just the multitude, the infinite multitude of what it could be. I think super cool and super fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too. And you may, I guess there's one other aspect that we haven't really talked about, and that's your council. The council of elders. Basically, it's like this group of wise beings that you meet with, and they kind of help you with your planning. They help you with your review. I think they pretty much just help you like with all of it. I know when I met with my council, I've met with my council a couple times now, and they've just kind of been like, all right, you're doing a pretty good job. And kind of showed me some visions and showed me where I'm going, and then gave me a big giant key that I'm still, I think I have some ideas of what it means, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I remember when you came out of that session and you were telling me about the big golden energetic vibrating key they gave you, and I'm like, great, what's it do? And you're like, I'm not 100% sure. Which is one of the things we all go through here, is we kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah, it's
what
like
things
putting
mean.
together a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
Or putting together the puzzle pieces of the different guidance. And we talked about that in the intuition podcast, but that's how it is. You're putting together the puzzle pieces and making actions based on what it is you think you want to go next. And that's where all the probabilities come from. And it's probably kind of exciting to be a spirit guide. Like, ooh, what are you going to do with this little nugget? Or how are you going to interpret this?
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine, but I know that the human that I am and the ideas of my soul's personality that I have, I would be that spirit guide. Ooh, we've done this and this. What's going to happen? And just like on the edge of the seat, anticipatory. Oh, you did that again? All right, well, let's try this and this. Okay, what's going to happen? Oh, yeah, see, look, you made a different choice. Yoo-hoo! Yeah, absolutely. I would be that edge of the seat, like cheerleader for my soul friend, just so excited to see what they do.
Definitely a cheerleader, but I don't think there's ever any judgment.
Oh, no, it's a matter of what they do. Oh, you chose that. Okay, well, let's do this and
totally.
this.
Oh, cool.
Oh, you chose something different. Okay.
Well, I feel like one of the biggest points I want to point out is that the more incarnations that you have and the more experience, it's never about becoming better than someone with less experience. It's more about, I guess what I'm trying to say is that older souls are not better than younger souls. It's more about the amount of experience that they have. And so...
Yeah, but that comes with its own issues.
Yeah.
As well.
Like everything. Everything has its positive and negatives. So older souls just basically have more things to think about. More things to hold within their energetic vibration. More challenges, more past life experiences, more life lessons, more everything. Whereas like some of the younger souls, they may be more fixated on, survival, or they may be more fixated on one or two things.
Well, that is something too that I wanted to get into as well, that when you start to come to earth and you're experiencing your first earthly incarnations, no matter what time frame in our history this would have been, there's a really good chance that you're going to choose things that keep you focused on survival. As a young soul, you typically need to be able to survive.
Well, yeah, that's very important.
I don't think there are, from our research, too many brand new earth souls coming now in these modern times, but most of us have had some sort of experience of hunter-gatherer in the village where your resources are an issue every single day. Your survival is, or neighboring other warring tribes and stuff. So where you're literally focused every day on where's my water come from? Where's my food come from? Are we safe? We have to have people looking out to make sure we're safe. My elders say to do this, and that'll keep us safe and keep us fed. And here I am and paying attention. So if you get my drift on the way I'm talking, it's almost like a one-track mind. You very much have to focus on survival. And once you kind of get that down and your soul understands, you're in Earth now. It's third dimensional. Like, you have to eat food, you need to drink water, you got to keep yourself safe. You can be hurt in this body. You're not just in a mental form on a different planet where you don't have to worry about some of these things. This is part of the challenge of being in Earth and why you're so brave for being here. So once you kind of get through that, you progress into being able to handle more and take on different aspects of life here on Earth. And Emily was getting into it that, once you're an older soul and you've been around a while, some people think, oh, I'm an old soul, it's getting easier. Well, no, now you're just dealing with more complexity.
Yeah, way more complexity.
Way more complexity. You might be thinking about, let's see, something in the lines of, how can I have a life that's successful to me in this dog-eat-dog mentality of the world that we live in? How can I have a successful life and do no harm?
Yeah.
When that's modeled to us all the time. You get ahead by taking from others, by being better than somebody else. Well, what if your soul's grown to a point where you actually understand on a soul level, and it's coming through in your human life, that we're all one. We're all just here having our experience, and we're all uniquely different, but no one's better than the other one. But at the same time, I want to provide for my family, and I want to be successful, and I want to feel...
Well, you have to define what success means too.
Yes, not just provide for the family or earn money, but whatever that successful or that satisfaction feeling is, you want these things in your life, but you don't want it
to feel like shit.
To feel like shit because you dominated people or took things from them or cheated other people out. Like, you want integrity in your life.
Yeah, and you want to do it from a most authentic standpoint. I mean, that's just an example of the complexity that can come along with being a more experienced soul.
Yeah.
So you're going away from that survival mentality where it's just every single day, it's like, okay, what do I have to do to survive? That's all you think about, to, oh, okay, well, now I am in a place where I don't have to think about survival all the time, and you start to ponder all of these other different things.
The words I was looking for was, you're out of survival mode, but now the more experience you have as a soul, it comes with these internal moral dilemmas.
Yeah, for sure.
That you wouldn't have as a young soul when literally your focus is, I got to be safe, and where does my food and water come from, and how do I help my family do this, and then my tribe do this. I think the representation in modern times might be some third world countries or countries that experience a lot of, that are in war zones and stuff, being born into a situation like that. I think where your literal survival is at play every single day might be the modern representation of what we're talking about. When I spoke of hunter-gatherer lifestyles earlier, we read for one soul who had, 9 lifetimes, I think it was, that one soul did, but most of the people we read for are into the hundreds of lifetimes. So they're going to be beyond just survival mode.
Or maybe a less about survival. Maybe a younger soul may be just really self-centered and thinking about themselves a lot. That could be a way, a younger soul, if they chose not to incarnate somewhere where survival was at its every single day, survival was at the forefront of your mind. That may be the next type of incarnation.
For learning, yeah. Totally.
Yeah, for learning. where I don't have to think about survival every day, but you know, they may be kind of more self-centered, more always just thinking about themselves because they haven't evolved past that point to where it's like, okay, now I've really come into my own soul and learned about myself, and now I can start to explore maybe other people's points of view as well. So that could be another example of like a younger soul.
I just think of the teenager and the teenager that I was that knew everything.
Oh, yeah.
Despite what any adult or elder was trying to tell me or teacher was trying to point out, I was like, I got this, I know. But I'm the kind of soul that I need to make my own mistakes. I learn from that, you know, but I think of some younger souls, they're kind of in that mode, but they don't really grow out of that. They're just kind of like, I got this, like I'm focused on me, you know, that kind of, I need to know what it's like for me. Yeah, I find that these teenage souls are just kind of stuck in that, like, I've got this, their own experience, they know what's best, they're just focused on themselves, and they really haven't been able to grow to a point yet of experience here on earth where they are also thinking about how do they fit in with others in a group and work together with others to accomplish a group's goals, as opposed to what do I have to do to accomplish X on my own. They're past survival, just survival mode, but I think they are kind of stuck. It's not a negative thing, it's just kind of where that soul is, that self-centeredness. They just haven't really opened up to what it is to take in the experience or the knowledge of others and kind of share in that kind of environment, if you will, while they're here.
Well, I think it's more about like the older souls, it's more about how do I fit in for the greater good of all. Whereas the younger souls, it's more just how do I fit in? How do I fit in here?
Okay, yeah.
So I think the more experience and the older the souls get, it's like, okay, how do I fit in, but also fit into the greater good? Not only how do I fit in, but how can I contribute to the greater good of all and be a part of that? Be a part of the goodness and the love here on earth, and how can we help the planet?
Yeah, the internal complexities just grow with your soul's age. The older you get, the more experiences you have, the more internal dialogue and complexity within that you're filtering through, thinking about, feeling into. It comes with, you know, becoming an older soul versus being a younger soul.
Yes.
For sure.
But I think it's also worth mentioning that even older souls, because you do have more complexity, that also has more potential for trauma that needs balanced and healing from past lives, from just all the different things that happen over your lifetimes and how they all kind of coalesce together and how the triggers can like pile on top of each other. And so that can really cause some things to happen.
In our past life regression work, we've seen, I mean, just through personal experience, but also working with clients, just bringing awareness to what has happened in another lifetime around energies that are at play now. Sometimes our soul is trying to attract something that will get us to remember the past so we can bring balance and heal it. There's no way to go back into that past life and forgive that person that did something to you, but can you let go? Sometimes it's just we carry the trauma of that energy that it happened and we haven't let go. We might carry a pain in our body.
Or a limited belief that's holding you back from moving on and being fully present in this lifetime.
Because in the past life, when you really went for something you wanted, you got the smackdown. So you're afraid to really do what you want. Those deep soul desires, those things that kind of, you know, really excite you, but maybe scare you a little bit too to go for, to take that leap. And you're hesitant, it could be because you're holding back because of something that happened in a past life. But when you can bring awareness to these things and then go, oh, I'm not going to let this past life hold power over me anymore. I get that hesitancy. It's not just me dealing with fear. I'm literally letting multiple past lifetimes ago still have a power over me. Okay, I'm going to nip that fear in the bud now. I understand where that comes from. It's amazing what awareness can bring when we're dealing with past life energies that could be at play in the now, in your life right now. That's a really good point, baby. The more experience you've had here, because it can be traumatic, the more opportunity for trauma your soul has had. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And on the other side, the more potential for amazingness and beauty and joy and marveling at Mother Nature. We live in a dualistic world. So if you can think of something horrible, the exact opposite amazing things potentially possible as well, and vice versa. But most of us live in that in between. I mean, there are some souls that are literally stuck in black white and they really can't get to the gray area in between. That's just kind of where they are in their journey. And that's okay too, because there's learning within that mental makeup or that emotional makeup as well. But there's the vast majority of life here on earth is the in between. I really find that coming to earth and living here, it's an imperfect world. There is no utopian society, and it's about finding balance. But within all of the imperfections, right in the middle is perfect. Even if you type this out and look at those words, those letters that make up that word, imperfections, there is the word perfect, Joe.
Oh, shit.
Check it out.
Yeah, there is.
I love this little example. But I find that that's really what life is. You're going through all of this imperfections, whatever side of the coin or the duality you are existing, to find that perfect balance for you, for your soul.
Yeah.
It really is about balance. And essentially that's what karma is all about, is finding balance. It's not
Punishment.
exactly, it's not punishment.
I mean, so many people, they try to see it as punishment, or they're like, oh, wait till their karma comes back and bites them in the ass. And yeah, that probably is a part of it, but it's really about finding that balance within your own self. I mean, kind of like that example that we talked about earlier. Yes, you can be a super loving person, but that can also present a challenge in certain circumstances when you're here on earth. If you're so loving that you start to get taken advantage of, or you're so loving, you may have a hard time finding a partner because you just keep giving them the benefit of the doubt and the benefit of the doubt, and then they keep treating you like shit, and you're like, oh, I don't understand, I'm just so loving. Well, that could present a challenge. So it's about finding this balance within even your strengths, as well as finding balances within your weaknesses, because sometimes even your weaknesses are strengths. It's about finding that middle area with it all.
Absolutely. From a personal perspective, I mentioned earlier with past lives and not being able to let go of something, an old energy, an experience, and you carry it over. I think that is the gift of wrapping your head around and understanding that there is a journey of souls. There is a path that your soul's on of experiential knowledge, and that we map out these potential probabilities. And I'll guarantee you that the people that have been really close in your life, the family you're born into, the really, really good friends, and along the way, sometimes somebody who just drops in and you may know them for an hour, but you have a little bit of a conversation and it shifts things for you. These kind of people, but especially the ones that you can look at, like your family, your close friends, the ones that you spend a lot of time around, they were meant to be in your life. Your soul and their soul know each other, even though you just met in this human life, because we have that spiritual amnesia when we come here. There was a reason. So in the example Emily just gave, you're a really loving person and you can't understand why somebody is treating you horrible. It could be part of your learning, a soul agreement for them to come and kind of be a dick to you, be a bit of an asshole, not treat you right, to help you see that this wonderful, loving nature about you needs some discernment, that maybe not everybody deserves your love that's in a human body right now. Everybody deserves love, but maybe not everybody deserves you loving them. So we need to find a way to be a little more discerning with who we open our heart to and experience maybe somebody treating us wrong, to understand, hey, I can still be a loving person, but I can also be a little more discerning about it as well. When and where to fully open up, when and where to be truly vulnerable, and with whom.
Well, and I don't even think it's about not loving that other person. I think it's, you don't have to jump, head first into it. The discernment is about, okay, that person deserves my love, but I don't have to get married to that person if that's how they're going to treat me. I can love them from a distance. Or
Oh, yes, absolutely. I didn't mean to say that they don't deserve to not have love.
no,
I
no,
just
no.
meant
And
that
I don't
maybe
think that you did say that.
they don't need to be in your life. You can back out of that relationship and still love them for the experience you had and the gifts and love them.
and
But
just love them in general. But yeah, sometimes different things. But it's not it shouldn't be at the cost of yourself.
yes,
You shouldn't have to sacrifice yourself in order to love someone else.
ding, ding,
Essentially.
ding. You should never have to sacrifice yourself. I mean, you may take a moment and kind of sacrifice some time or something to help somebody out or do for somebody, but life here, unless it's your learning path, is not about just sacrificing yourself for others.
Yeah, and the other example that we gave about going with the flow, it's great to go along with the flow, and it's great to, I'm sure you're really easy to be around because you just kind of go along with everything. But then what about when it comes time for you want to fulfill your goals, but you're just going along with the flow with everyone else, and you aren't able to ever achieve your goals. And so you'll probably want a little bit more self-discipline, or you may want discernment there too. I mean, it really just kind of depends on the issue for wanting to go with the challenges of going with the flow. Because I mean, the going with the flow could be that you're constantly being manipulated by other people, which would be discernment, or it could be a matter of just not applying yourself, which would be more about needing more self-discipline, or it could be both. So it just depends on what your individual goals are as a soul.
You don't have the self-worth to make your own decisions and to go for it, so you just let other people choose for you.
Or self-respect. You don't respect yourself enough to believe that you're worthy of having your goals fulfilled. So as you can see, it really depends on what your soul path is, what your strengths are, what you're wanting to achieve. So it really just depends on, this is how unique everyone's path is. It's so fascinating.
Totally.
We love doing the Soul Journey Akashic Record readings. They're just amazing. They're just such a cool resource to have.
I wanted to jump back in for just a second because I was talking about the gift of understanding that you're on a journey and that every soul's on a journey, and that there are soul agreements that we go through, that we need people to come help us learn our lessons or to propel our life. And in letting go, I was someone in my life that had a lot of trouble with the things I went through and letting go of them and making peace with stuff. And I actually, even for a while, started to kind of let my victimhood be a badge. Oh, I went through this. I survived these things in my life. I don't want to get into details, at least not at this point. Maybe there'll be another podcast for that. But, the things that I went through were really tough for me to let go and make peace of. And actually, one of the big, huge puzzle pieces that let me let go was coming to the understanding that all of our souls are on a journey. It's about experience and what we do with it. And when we hold on to things, we actually keep them alive within us. And that's why letting go can be so healing and so huge for us.
So hard.
And it's so hard because these things happened and they were real. And, no matter what the details are, if it was traumatic to you, it can be really hard to let go of, especially when you didn't get any justice out of it too. But I know for me personally, coming to the truth of my soul's on a journey to learn, and that even though there were some really rough lessons along the way, understanding that I'm on a journey and that I had soul agreements to help me learn these things or to go through these experiences. And in the flip side, I've done this as well for others, really helped me to start to let go, to make peace with things that have happened to me, not to love that they happened to me, in my human self, because they were rough, but to make peace with it and to let go. It really helped me to finally take off that badge of victimhood, that almost honor I had about it, and to make peace and to let go and to find a lot of healing and a lot more lightness within my body and my soul and physical pains that I had started to dissipate. I mean, I went through physical changes when I finally started to let go.
Yeah, that's true.
I would just politely challenge you to look at your life and try to understand that it is about learning. And if you can, try to make some peace with things and not hold on to that anger and to that pain and to the traumas and carry them over with you. If you at all can, find your balance and your letting go point. I encourage you to do so.
And we definitely understand that it's easier said than done.
Yes.
It's a difficult thing to do.
Absolutely don't want to make this sound like it was an easy journey for me personally. But I love you. Thank you for being here. You're an amazing soul and a brave soul, no matter what you're going through, have been through, or could possibly go through. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking up that mantle of bravery to go through this third dimensional earth experience and have the courage and the resiliency to be here.
Yeah.
It's truly an honor to be reaching you with my voice right now, and my heart is wide open for you.
For sure. But I feel like that's a pretty good segue into the next point that we wanted to talk about, was that even though souls are made of divine light and they are made of this perfect God, goddess, universe, source energy, that does not make each soul full of love, joy, lightheartedness. That is just not the way, that's just not the design.
Nope. You got to remember, there's unconditional love for all, for everything in this universe.
Aspect.
There is no judgment. So when we think of human concepts like the devil or people that are, have done really wrong and bad things, when their soul goes back to spirit, their soul and their own shame and guilt potentially could put them in a lower vibrational astral realm for a little while, a purgatory, if you will, where they can't let go of things they've done. But there are also some souls that are more equipped to do that. That's just kind of their makeup. And there is no right or wrong here. I don't want to trigger you into anything, whatever your beliefs are, have them. They're here for your learning right now. But there is no right or wrong. There is no one way to be a soul when you're in spirit, because God, Goddess, the universe accepts all. And there is a place for all. And that's part of the challenge of Earth, is everything is here. It's not just a mental plane or emotional plane or an enlightenment plane. It is an everything plane of existence here on Earth.
Yeah. And oftentimes those souls that do have an easier time, with the more negative aspects, if you will, here on Earth, I mean, they're completely separated from their divinity. They absolutely, we all come here and forget that we are this divine light and this divine love, but they are completely separated from it, and then they don't find their way back while they're incarnated. And they may not even find their way back when they're in a soul form. That could be why they live in purgatory, because they just can't seem to make that connection again. And it's part of their growth and part of their learning. And eventually, hopefully eventually, they will find their way back. But it takes a lot longer. It takes time.
Yeah, some souls don't make it all the way back into what we would call to be in spirit in a light body. They still have their soul friends and their guides and stuff that keep an eye on them, but sometimes they stay in a lower astral realm before their next incarnation, because like Emily said, they are completely cut off from their divinity. That's just where their soul is right now, but they are still unconditionally loved by the Creator.
Yeah. And their spirit guides will gently try to nudge them to, see their light again, to come back to their divinity. But it's essentially our choice as souls to decide whether we want that for ourselves or not. And some don't feel like they're worthy of it.
Yeah.
Especially if they were here on Earth and they acted in ways that they aren't able to forgive themselves. And when you get that higher perspective, or they may not even get the higher perspective, they just kind of stay in that lower vibration, unable to move out of the guilt and the shame.
I'm hopeful that any soul that's experiencing that will find that perspective and will find that spark of divinity within them at some point, some incarnation, and start to work their way back towards that and work through their karma and find balance in that.
We'll hear those gentle nudges in spirit. But I mean, it's kind of similar to us here on earth. We, sometimes it's difficult to hear those gentle nudges of our intuition and our spirit guides while we're in a body here on earth. And it's just about trying to be open to those nudges and accepting that you are on this grand path. And there is just so much. I mean, you are divinity. You are a piece of divinity. And that is a part of you as a human. And just to find your way to connect with that. Yeah, it's really a beautiful thing.
You are the divine here having a human experience. Absolutely. It is a very beautiful thing.
Even though it doesn't feel like it's beautiful sometimes it feels super shitty, but overall it's a beautiful thing. And focusing on the beauty is a great way to, open your eyes and to see.
Absolutely. What we focus on multiplies. So if we can find a way to focus on the things that we find beautiful, whatever they are in life, or
flowers,
focus on loving
nature, purple.
Absolutely. I mean, Emily's pretty much nailing it for us, marveling at Mother Nature and witnessing the flora and the fauna here on Earth doing their little thing. Where we are right now, there's a water dish with a hummingbird feeder right above it. It's just a little water pan. We're out here in Moab. It's super dry. Actually, it's at the end of the monsoon season, so it's been a little bit, like 50% humidity. It's been a little moisture that it can, but it gets really dry. And little ground squirrels and rabbits come and they get their water from here. Little bugs get into it and they get water from it. But this one little water pan nourishes so much of nature. And we just love watching it through the window. Little ground squirrels and hummingbirds and bunnies. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And that's just a little piece of our daily lives right now, but we focus on the beauty of Mother Nature and the other beings here and the uniqueness and intricacies of our human brothers and sisters and our clients that we get to work for, just how unique and special that you are. These are things that bring us great joy and multiply joy and love in our life when we focus on these things, for sure.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm, always 100% focused on the beauty. I mean, I think we all move down into those lower vibrational energies at times, but it's about trying not to judge yourself or judge those aspects of yourself and just try to figure out what the learning is.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the learning I'm going through here? Let's get moving on, trying to be the observer and have the awareness that I'm in a low time right now, but it's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'd like to experience higher vibrations. So how do I move forward? How do I reset? Do I need to clear my energy? What's going on? Oh, yeah, this and this have happened recently. That's got me kind of down. Just whatever it is that you're going through, like,
just honor that.
Honor that. Absolutely. That's a great way to say that, honey. Thank you. Honor it. And then move forward.
And know that it won't last forever.
Yes. I also wanted to mention that I know some of the things that we're talking about with spirit conceptually might sound like Earth. There's a couple of reasons. One is, well, I'm alive here on Earth and I only have my earthly way to explain things. I have this language. If I could just share my consciousness and my heart space intelligence with you, I'm sure I would be way more eloquent. But all we have is what comes out of our mouth as a way to try to share this knowledge in this podcast form, at least. And the other is one of the laws of the universe. As above, so below. So when you look around in all of your experiences here, there is something in the quantum field, there is some representation somewhere else in this universe that exists, or it wouldn't exist in third dimensional reality. And if you can think it or dream it, it's in the quantum, which means it's possibly here already too. No matter what that thought or dream is, you just may not be aware of it. Or maybe you're the one that needs to bring it here, to be the inventor, to bring it into the physical. But as above, so below. This isn't just the lighthearted, loving, joyful aspects of as above. This is all of the aspects of it. It very much is so enriched and so extensive. And that's part of the beauty of being here on earth, is everything is possible, just like above.
I think this is a good stopping point.
Yeah, I feel like we've
kind of made it through our notes plus some.
yeah, that's what I love. I'm a big note taker. I usually have more than we need around notes and points I want to hit on, and we don't always hit on all the points, but Emily and I try to treat this as having a conversation with each other and with you as our guest. And we know that we want to talk about certain things, but then, Spirit moves through us and our soul's guidance and intuition is happening at the same time. So we might go on a little tangent or add in a few extra details that certainly weren't in my notes. That's for sure.
I feel like if anyone who is listening is interested in learning more about their soul journey, it would be such an honor to put together a Soul Journey Akashic Record reading for you. It literally gives us so much joy. It is just one of the coolest things ever to be in someone's soul energy and be able to pass along these messages and this information to them. It's a one-time purchase, and we give you all the information that you could possibly need and more about your soul's journey. And then we have a meeting afterwards, a 90-minute call with both of us where we answer any questions. We talk about our experience within your soul's energy, and we call it a pump-up call because we just pump you up. We tell you how amazing you are because we've spent all this time in your soul's energy, and I mean, every soul that we've encountered has just been so incredible. It's just this amazing.
Yeah, it's a pretty elated experience to log into someone's soul record and hang out with their energy and research and communicate with your soul on what you need to know and what's important for you to know about your life between lifetimes. When we dabble in past lives experiences and roles and things you've been into and your life lessons and what's going on in this life that's going to be your challenges and greatest strengths, and they are super cool.
Yeah.
It would be a lot of fun for us and truly an honor to assist you in that if you're interested. I'll make sure there's a link in the show description for sure.
Yeah.
Well, have a wonderful day.
And yes, indeed. I think it's time to get our workout on.
Yeah, it's hit training time. Yeah. All right, y'all. We'll catch you next time.
Have a good day.